What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Champions TCG for a set review and an ability keyword review. I'm your host, Manifestable, joined as always with the Lord himself. Lord, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Yeah, excited. Been grinding out stuff for Gen 5. I think it's going to be our best set ever.
I think so too. And as they say, roses are red, violets are blue. I am a Gemini, and so am I. And that's the first keyword that we're going to be talking about here. It is the dual personality of the Gemini. We've seen different elemental astrological keywords, in terms of Taurus. We've seen Leo, we've seen Scorpio, but these were all cards. Now we see the first Gemini card that has its own keyword, which is the genetic split. So maybe a high level, just walk us through what is genetic split.
Yeah, so this is the first champion we've done of this type. Basically, it's a base champion of Gemini that you see here in the middle. It's going to be used, probably in every deck, no matter what your hero is. Gemini himself is a normal champion. And then it can evolve into one of 6 different additional champions based on the hero you choose. So if you go fire, we've got Hottie over there, and the various different champions. So it should be a staple of pretty much every deck, and it kind of works like you can either evolve it organically, like you can traditionally, but its mechanic is genetic split. So if you can get this card into play and then are able to do a face attack with it, then it will automatically spawn its evolution along with another copy of itself. So it's kind of, yeah, it's a huge mechanic. I'm expecting to see a lot of builds, kind of building around this champion.
Wow. Yeah. So the first thing that runs through my mind is just that it needs to deal damage to achieve its effect of genetic split. But once it does, it is absolutely a powerhouse because not only does it create a copy of its original self, so you still retain a Gemini, but you get a completely new evolved version of the card. And of course, the original version of the Gemini will also be able to genetic split. That's part of its ability. So, you can quickly see that if you use some tempo strategies like Blizzard or Whirlwind or ways to make sure that your opponent's, passive creatures like, provoke creatures, etc., are off the board and you can get a damage dealt in, then it can quickly multiply. That seems like really powerful to me. All right, yeah.
All
Let me
right.
adjust it down so we can see.
So
All
yeah,
right, so we're looking at that divine protection. Yeah, that's the first one that you brought up, and it's the first one we're going to explore. So this is the evolved version of Gemini. So it is Sunny for the Light family. It is a 3/7 for 6 mana. So, and it is a diamond card. So it's important to recognize too that these are going to be a little bit harder to come by opening out of a regular pack. But they will be available through all the Mythic Light packs. So make sure you're using your crafting shards to give yourself a better shot at a staple card like this Sunny. It can evolve as normal, like the Lord mentioned. But you can also evolve it naturally by just dealing damage with the Gemini. When it comes into play, it has divine protection. So this is kind of an automated ability that once the Sunny joins the battlefield on your side, you cannot take direct player damage until your next turn. So this would be cutting off, things like combustion, things like that. You cannot take that. As well as I wanted to see, does this also prevent, combat damage that's being dealt by opposing champions?
I believe it's just face damage. Yeah, so it's coming in. It's stopping, like you said, combustion, vortex damage. I mean, it can be a super useful ability. When you're get running low on health. And Sunny, there's multiple hero or champions that are in this set that have the divine protection keyword. So, any of you light maxis out there are likely going to be running a few of these divine protections. And yeah, excited to see some of the strategies that kind of come out of this once we get going.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw how important combustion was to our players in that Pro Invitational, and so this obviously, coming in and buying you protection for that turn, really huge. But then the other key to this strategy as well is that if you can do this every turn, if you can just keep attacking with that Gemini, you keep getting a new divine protection, you'll be able to potentially keep your protection for as long as you can attack with that Gemini.
Yeah, kind of stopping, the counter to these, aggro decks that are coming in. There's going to be a lot more of that in this set. We have a few more abilities that you'll see are going to play into different types of aggro styles, but light should be a decent counter for that, especially since it is kind of slower. You have to bless some of your creatures to get that face damage. Might probably have some retributions in your deck that you need to get off and things like that. So should be a useful mechanic. And then yeah, we'll get
Absolutely.
into an exciting one here next. This is Zero. Believe Zero's favorite mechanic coming up here, but yeah, Tempest. So yeah, kind of read through that. Give me your initial thoughts.
All right, so we're looking at Evelyn Tyr, the Goddess of Wind. It is a 3 mana 6/6, which is just monster stats out of the air family, the air element. And Tempest says return all your friendly cards to your hand, and it gains +1/+2 for each card returned. So this is a great card to rebuy the cards with great abilities that you have already gotten their abilities used, such as Blizzards or other Whirlwind cards. Of course, if it's an air card, you're going to have other great Whirlwind cards like, cards like Eaglon and some of those types of things. Those would be able to be rebought, and yeah, it's going to become huge. So not only it starts off as a
Well, and
6/6,
and I believe
but even
this
if you just
was.
return one champion,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I believe this is outdated. We did, I believe, update her to 4 mana because it was a little too powerful. So this is an outdated card image I'm showing you. But yeah, no, still all the same effects, everything
gotcha.
you're saying. Definitely, there's probably going to be some supercharged stuff that can be in combination with some of this. So yeah,
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, so you're not only getting to rebuy your abilities that you've already spent. Sometimes there's going to be ways that cards coming in with things like wildfire is really important and valuable for you, and combustion, etc. Some of those cards, raised dead, being able to get a new raised dead, etc. Really valuable. Yeah, I love to see this card. I think the art on it is super cool, and it's a crafted card. I'm noticing that, which is even better. So this is going to benefit players that are keeping those shards for their crafted packs.
yeah, it's a crafted card, and as you can see, it's an epic named champion. So at some point in the future, this will be Evelyn will become a hero that you can use with special passive and active abilities as we continue to build out the hero side. So definitely going to be a useful card. Let's keep it moving. Harvest.
All right. Next, we're looking at Robat, and Robat is a nature card, and it has the ability Harvest. So it says add a random lily to your hand. So we saw that there was an announcement with 4 new lilies spoiled, including the silver lily, which is really cool. But yeah, you're going to be able to get any lily that's printed in the set. So that could be a blue lily, a purple lily, a white lily, one of the new ones, the silver lily. This will just automatically add one to your hand, and really cool again for some of those effects like we're seeing cards that can with Tempest be able to return friendly champions to your hand. It can even return your lilies to your hand. So if it's a blue lily, you'll get to rebuy that tsunami, or even a white lily. You already used it for a mana, but you'll get to use it again and potentially trigger wildfire again, or some other ability that cares about cards entering. So Harvest seems really positioned well in an already strong element with nature.
Yeah, Harvest is coming in there super useful with Tempest because all the lilies are 0 mana. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do there with Tempest or casting an extra Inferno, or one of the lilies is Windseeker now. So yeah, Harvest is going to be a big mechanic to build your deck around. Um,
Wow. A Windseeker Lily. This is getting out of hand. The lilies are gonna be, I mean, they're already really powerful, but
Yeah.
I could see lilies being huge in competitive play. If people are able to open one of those, it gives you a massive advantage. You still, it doesn't win you the game on its own because it's just a card. You still have to deploy it properly, but they're going to give a massive advantage to players. And what's interesting is that, of course, opening the lilies are extremely rare, extremely hard, but you get to stock your deck full of these harvest cards, and you don't actually have to open them because you'll get one for free. That's so powerful.
Yeah, lilies are, like a staple card for us. You don't run into it much in standard, so harvest is a way to get people to play with those different lilies. It is a random, so you're not going to be able to, seek out a wind seeker lily. It's just going to harvest you one of the random. I think there's 6 or 7 lilies there. So, but yeah, definitely a useful mechanic.
Yeah, I
Um,
love it. I can't wait to start playing with a few more lilies.
and
It's
yeah, the
it's
the lilies.
the fact that you have to open them to play with one. Harvest is perfect for those players that just want to experience what it's like to actually play with lilies.
Yeah, and make them more desirable. It's you got a 1 in 1.5 million chance to pull a lily, so highly doubt anyone watching you're gonna get one. We did see somebody pull one on opening day though this last set, so good luck to you. But otherwise, you're
Yep,
you're stuck.
two. I think there's two blue lilies out there.
Otherwise, you're stuck with the
Yeah.
the harvest to get your lily fix.
Yep. It's a poor man's lily.
Poor man's lily.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's take a look at this one. All
Yeah. No.
right, so we're looking at Charcoaly here, 5 mana. Yeah.
Yeah. No. This is one of my
And it
favorite.
has the ability Arson. This is from the fire element. Yeah.
No, sorry, I think we're on kind of like a delay there, but yeah, no. Heart. This is one of my favorite lines. Charcoaly is from a. It's a fire line there. There's 3 champions in it. I think a couple of them have uh, arson, and then the other one has combustion. But yeah, arson's a unique ability or keyword, so you can get more draw. A lot of times I've tried running fire decks, and you just kind of wear yourself out. You're firing, infernos. They're dying to themselves, but this is a way for you to draw cards and get a powerful card into play. Charcoaly is a beast.
Yeah, he looks awesome. And sometimes you get a bonus when cards are dealt damage to your own champions, things like Berserkers. So we could see this being part of a strategy that, really tries to empty out the tank, but refills with cards like Arson to be able to get extra bonus attacks in.
Yeah, I haven't ran into the Berserker, but yeah, running some arson with the Berserkers, I can see how that could be useful. All right, let's go on here
Yeah.
to another fire element.
All right, so we are taking a look at Colo right now, who has the mechanic Self Destruct. It's a new ability in Elemental Warfare, dropping August 1st, 2024. We're really excited for that. And then Self Destruct, the ability says at the start of each of your turns, damage both players for X. So this has the ability Self Destruct 6. So as many turns as you can keep this out, it will continue whittle away both of your life totals until it kills one of you, either yourself or the opponent. And it is a beater there as well. So really excited to see this ability Self Destruct. This is a great strategy with aggro. The aggro player doesn't care about its own life total. It just wants to kill its opponent's life total. So a card like Self Destruct or an ability like Self Destruct slots in perfect.
Yeah, self destruct. There's 3 or 4 of these in the set. This is a 9 mana, so kind of be tough to get this one into play. But there are some useful ones, at lower mana cost for those aggro players.
Yeah, and sometimes it can just do, we talk all the time about how reach is important, but being able to slot in and get that last few points of damage in after you've sort of burned the tank and getting your opponent to under 10 or something. I think that's really great because sometimes it's hard to get them from 10 to 0. you can get them to 10, but they sometimes sort of stabilize around 8, 6. We've seen that a lot.
All right, yeah, let's go on here into another nature ability. So Afterlife, I've been messing around on Dev a little bit and seen some unique uses for this ability. But yeah, you're combating the aggro player. You've got some clears in nature, and then this is going to help you with your life total as Fronteria comes in with regrowth. So useful card.
Absolutely. Absolutely, an incredible card, really powerful just on his own. I believe his stats are 6/6, so he's really beefy, really healthy. Of course, regrowth when it dies gives a big bonus to your entire board, and it's a great way to complement a really low to the ground synergy strategy where you're trying to get underneath the opponent's defenses and sort of peck them away, so to speak, with lots of little attacks. But suddenly now you're adding the Fontarias and those little guys that you've started off with, like Joitas and some of these cards that have are low mana but have strong attacks. Now suddenly they're becoming monsters. They're almost becoming Aldrich Soyhammers in themselves when you have three Fontarias on the battlefield to buff them up. Now all of a sudden all these little beaters, they become giant staples. So really excited to see Afterlife come down because Fontaria is a really beloved card, and would love to see see some more play here with
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll keep going here. We've got about four new abilities left. This one is one of my favorites. Boris is like our staple card. I think he's on the generic card pack. So buying those initial packs, you're going to be seeing Boris on the front of those. And yeah, it's a crazy card. Yeah, I mean, kind of read through it and give me your initial thoughts on it. I've ran into it a couple times in Dev, and I mean, look at him. He's a beast.
Absolutely. He's a complete Chad. He's a hedgehog Chad. Hard to believe that he came from the family of Doris and Morris. Those look like they could barely even be like a ripple on the bicep of Boris. But yeah, really cool card. So the ability family, just so we can explain it, when Boris is on the battlefield with both Morris and Doris, you have this, super ability where he gets rush, he gets rock solid, and he gets infinite strike. So he just basically becomes like a complete board clear. Motivated by the strength of his family, he's able to just wreak havoc. And what's interesting about this, and I'm really excited to sort of see this one progress, is that we're seeing the beginnings of maybe the first combo deck because we've seen a lot of mid range, we've seen a lot of aggro, we've seen some control, etc. But we haven't seen a deck that really benefits when it gets certain key card combinations into play. And we're potentially seeing that where Morris and Doris in and of themselves, they are completely fine. These are great cards to be playing in certain strategies where you want to sort of tempo and buffer and play a little bit of life total gain where you're playing more of a mid-range to late game strategy. But now all of a sudden Boris comes in, and if you can time these all together even for only 7 mana, playing them all at once on the same turn, it is absolutely backbreaking. And really excited to see how this one comes because the combination of rush, rock solid, and infinite strike is pretty backbreaking for any player.
Yeah, no, I mean, Boris doesn't mess around. He doesn't want anyone touching his mom and dad, so he's coming in there. He's wrecking it. Obviously, Morris, his protector of innocence. So these are two innocent creatures that aren't doing much damage. They're easy to deal with, but yeah, you get them all in there on the same turn. He's something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting too is that just seeing Morris or Doris now in any opponent's deck, you have to instantly kill it because you don't want Boris to come out. So these are just pretty meager creatures, but they suddenly become like must answer threats immediately. So whereas you might attack a player, now you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I'll save my attack. I'll just kill Morris because I'm so nervous about Boris coming out. I really like the theme of this with family, and it's really interesting to sort of explore and see, are there any other families that will, Boris might be the first of several families coming down the line.
Yeah, no, super exciting mechanic there. This is an interesting one here. Die.
Yeah, so we talked about how being at 10 health or just below there, 8, 6. Sometimes we saw in tournament champions that's really a number where a lot of players are able to stabilize and turn the game around. And here you see that you can actually have a payoff for being close to the edge with regards to some of your attackers and some of your life strategy. So yeah, this could potentially work well with some of these other cards that we saw, like Colo, that come in and they deal damage to both players. That's exactly what you're looking for. You're looking to lower your life total while also producing threats that your opponent can't answer. So I really love this mechanic, die, and there's some potential trickery that could go on down the road, as we see that yes, it does die when it enters the field, but sometimes that's a benefit. Sometimes you want a card of yours to die so that you can trigger something that cares about a card dying. And you can do that for only 1 mana here with Corpse Seal. And then even if you just use it to trigger certain abilities that care about dying, that's good in and of itself. But then you also have the payoff of occasionally getting this 1 mana 9/9 when you're just at the right Goldilocks zone for your health. I think it's really cool, and I'm excited to see more cards like Corpse Seal.
Yeah, I mean, the raised dead maxis. I'm sure Boss Levs is gonna have a heyday with this and be a problem. All right, shy, shy. This is one of my an interesting mechanic. I mean, yeah, you can see here this 1 mana Cuddles, cute little dark creature. He's not going to, completely wreck the board, but there are a couple other creatures with the shy ability that come in there, and as long as they take non-lethal damage, then they're just getting returned to your hand. So you can pop them in there and chip away. Kind of, there's definitely going to be some interesting uses for this. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, right away I'm thinking of cards like Wildfire that care about every time you play a new champion, more and more benefits and bonuses happen. So now Shy allows you to rebuy some of these cards like Cuddles that come in and give you that extra advantage, being able to trigger some of your enter the battlefield cards. Yeah, really excited to see and explore what the use case is and what type of deck is looking for Shy. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be more of like some sort of combo deck that triggers lots of, harvest, getting new lilies, playing them for free, returning them to your hand with Tempest, playing them again with Cuddles. All this stuff sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite abilities. And then, yeah, we'll just go on to the last one and then wrap this up. We've got Purify. So, yeah, we had some drinkers in the Discord that were asking for some beer cards. So you can see here we got Laga, which is one of them. But yeah, Purify is an interesting mechanic to kind of combat these Soul Reapers that get huge, and some of these other abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing that cards like Vile Grub, they can sometimes just take a game completely away and over on their own. We're also seeing some cards like, Provoke can, be huge for key turns, etc. And, this Laga from the Light Elemental family, it does have the ability to completely get rid of one of those key passive abilities. And that even includes cards like the Light of Aldrich that can come back when it dies. Elemental shields, things like that. You have the ability to get rid of that with a single purify, and I think this will be a very meta dependent card where in certain metas, this will see a lot of play because you'll be wanting to get rid of some of these staple passive abilities. But then as the meta shifts, maybe it becomes a little bit less frequent of a card, which means that it become less this card, and then you see the return of the passive abilities as they sort of see less Lagas out there. So I'm really excited to see how this can impact an ever evolving meta.
Yeah, and actually, I realized that we were missing a few abilities here, so I'm just going to do this on the fly
Sure,
to
because I
showcase.
noticed, yeah,
Yeah,
we have another ability too that I think works really well with Shy. So remember, Shy is the ability that when it takes non-lethal damage, it comes back to your hand. I'll go to that one in a moment, but first we're going to talk about Dofa Tinker Time, always late. What is this? Is in the lore? Is this Bofa's brother or father, or maybe we'll see
yeah,
a
we got.
family, a Tinker Time family card come out?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some. We're gonna dive more into the lore after this Gen 5 set, so you guys could potentially see something there with the family, the Tinker Time family. But yeah, it's got the devolve ability. We'll keep this one pretty quick. It's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, you get some of these bigger creatures in here. You always have the ability to just devolve them, and it takes them back to their first evolution. So you've got a Blight Ooze in there or something. This can be a useful card for 3 mana to just take it back to a booger that's a little easier to deal with.
Right, or a bog, because that's the first one. But yeah, the other thing that's interesting about this is that you don't always have to use it defensively, although it is a great defensive card. But sometimes you can trigger an ability that you really need. Like, for example, if the first evolution of one of your champions has a blizzard effect and you need to get a blizzard on the board, Dofa is great at being able to, pull something out in a pinch. And then next, we're going to talk about Rising Waters. So this is another card that works really well with Shy. Rising Waters is a great ability that says gains +1/+1 whenever any card enters the field. So another card that's really good with cards like Tempest, cards like Shy, cards with the Harvest ability that are going to be getting you a Lily, because these are cards that as the waters rise, they continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger. It's a little bit in some ways like that Vile Grub, where it just can spiral up into a huge, champion. But of course, it does it every time you play a card. So you're really incentivized to continually return your own champions to your own hand, and rebuy them for maximum effect. And how are we looking at after that? Does that kind of cover the all the new abilities that we have in the set?
Um,
If so, we are looking at elemental warfare here, dropping August.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah,
We got
that's
one
okay.
more
Yeah.
that's comes in. It's super useful with the one we just looked at, which is the Rising Waters, and that's obviously this recruit mechanic, which you can see how Rising Waters can become a problem with this.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is a fan favorite, Nordy and Trouble. These are evolutions of each other. And so we have Chumley here, has the mechanic Recruit. It is a water mechanic, or it looks like at least this one is. And it when it enters, it summons an extra Nordy and Trouble. So if you thought that Provoke was really strong, when it dies, you get 2 ice cubes. You're looking at Provoke on steroids. Recruit is going to be massive because Nordy and Trouble, I believe Nordy is a 3/1. I think Trouble is a
Six,
4/4,
6/4, six
or
four,
yeah, 4/6
six.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are big powerhouse provoke creatures. They are going to protect, just in the same way that provoke sorry that shatter protects your board when it shatters into the ice cubes, except this is even stronger, even better. And as you said, it works really well with those rising waters and some of those other abilities that care about when you play cards, or when cards enter, you get bonuses like wildfire and like rising waters.
Yeah, and there are only a few champions that have this recruit ability, but yeah, this is going to be a popular one. A lot of the people that I've been testing with in dev are doing a lot of things with the Rising Waters and recruit, and yeah, for the people that joined us after Gen 1, I mean, these are both Gen 1 champions. I mean, Nordy is I'm a Nordy Maxi. I started off that way. I remember the first couple weeks after we launched, I loved playing Nordy. So kind of excited to, yeah, keep them alive. They're going to be seeing some more play that hasn't been in standard the last 6 months or so. But yeah, Nordy is a beast, and yeah, I mean, a boxing shark. It's just like iconic.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, and it takes us back to the Gen 1 days. That's where it all started here with Champions of Otherworldly Magic. And we began back in late May, or sorry, late June 2023. And now here we have the fifth set, Elemental Warfare, coming out August 1st, 2024. We see the evolution of the Pro Invitational. We're seeing daily payout rewards, hourly payout rewards. We're seeing packs that are tradable, game boards that are tradable, emotes that are tradable, everything, unopened packs, cards. And we're seeing the true evolution of the trading card game right in front of our eyes with Champions of Otherworldly Magic. Can't wait for this expansion set. Lots of new abilities, lots, and it's going to shake up standard. But yeah, thanks very much for being with us here. We wanted to do a quick ability overview, keyword ability overview, and we are going to continue to do these intros as we're leading up to 2 weeks from now when the set releases. As always, I'm your host, Manifestable, joined with the Lord himself. And thank you for tuning in. Join us in the Discord, discord.gg/ChampionsTCG. And we'll see you in the battlefield.
All right, guys. Thank you. Yeah. See you later.